Hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today on LinkedIn Live. So I was supposed to do a LinkedIn Live last Sunday on personal branding, but I got caught up with a lot of family activities. So I want to recover. I want to cover that today and discuss with you guys about personal branding on LinkedIn. It is something that I'm truly passionate about, and only because I've benefited so much out of my own personal brand on LinkedIn, and I think we can address some questions to help you get started with your personal branding efforts on LinkedIn as well. So thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you for joining from KL, and Kathy is on my YouTube channel. So right now, this LinkedIn video is streaming live on both sections on YouTube as well as on LinkedIn. So in the future, I will run it concurrently on Facebook as well, so more people could join in the discussion, and we can all have fun learning together and sharing our experiences. All right. Now, without further ado, I want to start off with the first conversation that I want to talk about is who are you targeting on LinkedIn? Now, clarity is one of the most important things. Whenever I coach someone, I always ask them, do they understand who they are trying to target? If you are targeting everyone, then you will actually win no one. So if you heard of this before, if you try to aim to please everybody or to sell something to everybody, it will never work. So it's about trying to reach the right target audience and then focusing on the niche that can afford your services or your products. So question number one, I want you guys to comment and let me know who are you targeting on LinkedIn. I want to read your answers because I want to see whether are you clarified enough. Okay, are you very clear about who you want to win? Understanding about what you can offer. So therefore, are you targeting the right people so far based on who you want to target? So I want to see a couple of answers. Leave me in the comment section as well. Now, I got a gift for everybody who's tuning in today. So obviously, if you are able to tune in today, I will also encourage you to sign up for my newsletter, which I'm about to get started. So I'm going to soon release every 2 weeks a newsletter with worksheets, strategies, and case studies about personal branding. And just to give you an example about what you're going to get if you submit your details in my newsletter today, here it is. I'm gonna share with you this information. So I'm gonna share with you this notes that I've put together with 5 features of LinkedIn that can help you boost your profile tremendously. So this is free of charge, okay, and absolutely free for those who sign up for my newsletter. So you can see the domain here on my screen, tinyurl.com/Lisa PB newsletter. So feel free to subscribe. You'll get my first email, my first newsletter around the 15th of March. And this will be what's inside the newsletter to explain in deeper details how you can use LinkedIn and tweak the features of LinkedIn to boost your profile tremendously. Now, anytime in the future, if you feel you don't want to subscribe anymore, if my content is no longer relevant, you can just unsubscribe. So no pressure at all. So if you'd like to have a copy of this guide, we'll try to see whether we can go through some of it later. But feel free to join and subscribe to my newsletter. So the domain will be on the screen from time to time, tinyurl.com slash Lisa PB newsletter. In case you missed out on this domain, don't worry. Just like or comment on my video today, and I will follow up to introduce you this link so you can register later on after my webinar. Now, perfect. I've not really seen basically any answer so far from my first question. Let's put the question back on the board. So as you can see, the question is asking you, who are you trying to target on social media? So whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn, I want to ask you, do you know who you're targeting on LinkedIn? And when you give me a, audience profile or customer profile, potential client profile, what is the ideal profile? So be as very specific as possible about who you want to target on LinkedIn. So, for example, let's say you are a personal branding coach. So, you're targeting, maybe you want to focus in corporate professionals, or you want to focus on the millennials trying to build a personal brand to seek future employment opportunities, or you want to target women who has been out of job, staying home, and now wants to get back into the workforce, and how you can coach them to build their personal brand and leverage on that on LinkedIn to get them connected to, their future job roles. So I want you to be very specific. If you say that, okay, Lisa, I'm a coach, I'm a life coach. So who exactly are you targeting? Corporate professionals. Now try to be more detailed. So for example, oh, Lisa is a life coach. I'm targeting corporate professionals who's currently at their 10 years or more corporate profession, and they need help, okay, finding purpose or managing their stress, or struggling with burnout. So that's an example. When you are very specific about who you target, it matters because you will start using the keywords that's relevant, and these keywords needs to always appear in your posting for all those people on LinkedIn to have a rough idea about what you are offering. Okay, let's see whether we get any answers. I'm happy to share. Okay, we just oh no, personal branding. I'm not a specialist of personal branding for offline relationships, so I actually only focus a lot on online branding through LinkedIn. Now, personal branding on other social media platforms like Instagram or Facebook, they are just far simpler. So we don't have to discuss all social media platforms, but we're discussing the hardest and the most difficult platform to thrive by winning people and globally networking on LinkedIn. So, what we're going to discuss today is a couple of questions with regards to personal branding online for LinkedIn. Now, even just personal branding online for LinkedIn, guys, it is not as easy. We cannot cover this in 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So, this is basically the base fundamentals that you probably need to understand, that you can apply, have one or two key takeaways after today's session. But if you subscribe to my PB newsletter, we'll always stay connected. I'll be writing up assignment notes and worksheets and coaching you how to do, measure metrics, results of your personal branding efforts on LinkedIn. So we can continue this relationship after my LinkedIn live today if you subscribe to my newsletter. So we are going to cover 6 questions today, which is starting from who are you targeting on LinkedIn. So the tip I want to give for this question is to be very specific on who you target. So let's say, for example, you have a specific person, okay? You are a life coach. You are targeting people who have spent more than 10 years in corporate, and they are facing stress management, having some pains or illnesses because of the stress at work. They are not coping very well in mental health. They are possibly having symptoms of a burnout. So it's very, very specific. Once you figure it out, you can start coming up with 5 keywords. So once you work out what's your customer profile, so Lisa, I already know who's my customer profile. Now I want you to think about 5 keywords that would make sense. So for example, as a life coach, I'm going to type in the comment section while I speak so you guys can take some notes down as well. So let's put the perspective of a life coach. So you're a life coach and you are looking for mid-career executives, okay, who is struggling right now. Okay, so that's your target audience. So in the comment section, I'm putting out notes as you can see. So what are the 5 keywords relatable to this person? Think about this person. Put yourself in the perspective of your potential client and think about the words that they always think about. So in this case, the words that they will always think about is burnout, um, stress, um, corporate ladder, meditation. It's true. Okay, when people think about burnout and stress, people start thinking about meditation. So that's what I want you to figure out. What else? Okay, so if you look in my comment section, I put up 5 keywords related to a particular clientele, client profile. So that's the first thing you want to do. Firstly, look into your business, understand what is your service offering, understand what are you selling, and then from there work out your customer profile as specific as possible. Who are your ideal customers? What kind of person you want to attract? What income should they have? What is your income bracket that you are trying to target? How many years of experience in corporate do they need to have before they can be your relevant client? What are the problems that they are facing that they would need your services to help them solve their problem? So once you work out what is your customer profile, you start thinking about the 5 hashtags, okay, which is the 5 keywords that your client would usually think of. So somebody who is clearly your client who wants a life coach would most likely think about burnout, stress management, mid-level executives, ambitious, high performance, meditation. These are the words that is commonly thought of or used or researched about by your client. And when you use these words inside your post, you will start attracting people who makes more sense to your business, making you targeting right target people and very, very niche market. Okay, so that is my tip. So number one, think about who you want to target on LinkedIn. Put into the perspective of your ideal customer and think about five words that they think about when they think about the problem they're facing. So when you use these words to constantly remind them about their issue as you share posts on social media, you will be straight away getting the attention of these people who are relevant to you. So your network on LinkedIn, these people who actually need your help, who understand the value and tips you give because you use keywords that's very highly resonating with them, they will start replying to you, private messaging you, or comment or share their experiences. And when people start communicating with you on LinkedIn, that is when you follow up and you actually monetize or you provide value that you can charge them another day. All right, let's go to the second question. Thank you so much. Okay, a sharing, Punit has shared as well, target audience, a particular industry in which you are working for you, life insurance. So, Punit, I assume that your target audience would be people looking for investments that can benefit them if something happened to them. From what I know, just from my point of view, but I'm not an expert, life insurance would make sense for people who are cautious about, unplanned death, die by illness, accident, of course, crash, unexpected, cancer, stage four, or disability due to accident. So I guess these are the five pointers that people need to think about what can happen to them if in life insurance could help them in any way. So you have to start thinking about the words that this client will start to think about. They will think about death, they will think about family, they will think about children, they will think about expensive medication, they will think about cancer. So these are the things that would worry somebody. So you want to target clients who are worried about their stress, who are worried about their health, who are worried about they might die, or who will take care of their family. So when you identify the keywords that matters to them, and you start using these keywords in your post when you want to share the benefits of having life insurance, you'll start to realize something, that the people who sticks around are people who wants to know more. Eventually that builds up enough interest for you to generate leads and of course do the proper follow up so that you can upsell your life insurance packages to help them. All right, so that is the first thing we want to talk about. Now, the next question I want to ask you is, what are your thoughts about networking online? Now, before the pandemic, everybody is building relationship in person. You know, you might have a road show where you have an exhibition and you get to talk to your potential clients. Or you might make a meeting in a corporate company, do a presentation to their management, and everything is done usually physically. But online, okay, it works slightly differently, and a lot of people are trying to transit to do better online, knowing that it is now, the pandemic, there's confinement, people cannot just go out. So networking online, I'm sure a lot of you have transitioned, right? From like, Lisa, I'm so used to talking to people offline, and now I have to connect with people online. So I want to ask you, what was your experience so far? Is networking online easier for you, or for some of you, probably offline would be better? Do you find it more challenging to build virtual relationships, or you prefer, and do you think it is easier to actually connect with people with a physical handshake and meet them in person? So I want to know. So do share with me, guys, what are your thoughts about networking online? Has it been easier for you or more difficult for you? And if it has been easier, I want to ask you, have you started making money? Is it more lucrative for you to build businesses online? Is it easier to acquire customers on LinkedIn than it is in person? Or is it more cost effective but not yet lucrative? So if you can share with me, that would be great. We've got some ideas and then we can, start discussing on that point. So what are your thoughts about networking online? Maybe some of you don't believe in personal branding. Some of you, "Oh, Lisa, I don't believe in LinkedIn. And Lisa, I don't believe this is for me. I don't think it can happen. I don't think relationships can be built on social media. I still prefer the conventional way, the traditional method of meeting people." It is okay. There's nothing wrong and there's nothing right. What each of us believe in is not as important. But what we can discuss is for every one of us to ponder thoughts, share opinions, and maybe suggest learning from our experiences. Okay, so what are your thoughts? Mhm. And reminding you guys, I do now, I'm starting a bi monthly newsletter. So every 2 weeks on the 1st and the 15th of every month, I'll be sending you guys newsletter to share you tips, strategies, case studies, as well as worksheets. And that is probably what you want. So some of my worksheets can help you understand personal branding better. So do subscribe to my newsletter 12 times a year. And in case in the future it's not relevant, you can unsubscribe anytime. So no worries at all. Going back to the questions, what are our thoughts, okay, about networking online, easier and more lucrative or otherwise? Now, every one of us experience is going to be personalized and very different from each other. So I don't want you to compare yourself with someone else. Oh, how come he starts personal branding the same time as me and he has 20 times more followers than me? It doesn't matter because everybody from a different background have a different package of competency, expertise, and character brings about or attracts different size and different people network. So I don't want you to compare with somebody else around you and the effort that they do because actually personal brand is a very personalized journey. Okay, let's see an answer that we have here. 2020, thank you viewers for sharing your opinion. 2020 has forced most of us to network online. That is true, which is a positive thing if you think about it. You know how amazing it is to connect with 100 people in 24 hours just by sitting on this computer chair in my home office. That's beautiful. Okay, and the traditional way moved into online, which is now a normal way. This is a great point that you highlight because I want to let people know for those of you who are so comfortable with physical handshakes and meeting people in person. I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I'm just saying that the world has evolved because of the virus, right? People are so used right now to make connections online. It's a bit awkward in the beginning, but people have learned to converse online. People have learned to build synergies online. People have learned to collaborate, partner up, running master classes between people in different continents, everything online. So when that happens, even though if we ever go back to pre-COVID, I'm not used to it anymore. I'm used to online networking. So people have a problem transitioning back to traditional methods even after the COVID. So this is going in a new way. And I think once people realize how effective this is, I think they don't want to go back to talking to one person per day. They rather talk to 20 people a day online. So, viewers, thank you for highlighting that. And it's a great reminder for all of us that times has changed, times has evolved, and so do we. We have to evolve. In order for us to survive in our business or corporate career, we have to evolve with the environmental factors. And in this case, the environment has forced us to transition into online, and now we need to creatively figure out how do we thrive regardless. Thank you so much for highlighting that. Okay, so definitely Chandan commented and says that definitely online network is better. We just want to look at two things when we talk about online networking. Okay, number one is time effective, which means you can have 20 conversation ongoing at the same time. That is time effectiveness. So you learn to become more, better in managing your time. Why would I want to have, one phone call for 2 hours when I can run a Zoom meeting and talk to 20 people? So why would I wanna, call cold leads, one call every 10 minutes when I can just release an online form on social media and 50 people would register their names. So leads are generated even faster. So that is about time effectiveness. And secondly, it's about cost effectiveness. Now, to acquire a relationship, okay, whether it's a business or not, to go out and meet someone, for example, right? When you want to meet someone, you have to consider your time of travel. You have to consider your cost of travel. You want to consider that time that you spend there, your time coming back. So there's a lot of hidden costs that you don't see with monetary cash dollars. So you might go, no, Lisa, I only spent $10, $5 because I just bought a coffee. That's all. But actually, the cost is so much more. The investment to meet a person in person is more than just a $5 coffee in a cafe. It's your time investment and your transportation cost. If you drive, then you have to worry about gas. If you're taking public transport, you have to worry about paying that as well. If you're taking a taxi, that's your taxi fees included in your cost acquisition. So therefore, it's very important, okay, to focus on networking online for two main reasons: to make it more effective in terms of time and make effective in terms of money. Okay, so for those who just joined us, we are talking right now about thoughts on networking online and whether it's easier or more lucrative, or if it can ever go that way, or otherwise. And if you want to admit right now, saying that Lisa, I'm still more into physical, you can feel free to admit it, so we know. And maybe if you need some help, I'm always here to help you transition to how to do better online with your personal branding. Okay, and again, talking about time and cost effectiveness, right? When doing online, you don't have to dress up so much. So for me, when I'm at home doing LinkedIn Live, I just need a proper top and it'll be okay. But if you go outside, you want to be more presentable, so you spend more time dressing up, more cost in buying clothes that looks pleasurable. Okay, but when we do online right now, right? I mean, I can buy a $2 shirt and you won't even mind. You really wouldn't even mind because we expect when we connect online, it's a little bit casual and informal. It's very different if we meet in person in a corporate office because there's always a level of presentation we need to upkeep, okay, so that people can take us seriously. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. Before we go on to the next questions of discussion, again, I want to remind you guys, if you would like, please subscribe to my bi-monthly newsletter. I'm starting giving up notes and strategies and things like that. So they are not common tips and strategies that you read elsewhere. So they're basically developed for my personal experience. And my next newsletter, actually my first newsletter, will be coming out on the 15th of March, 2021. And in the first newsletter, I will be sharing with you a guide sheet about 5 best features of LinkedIn that you can tweak, okay, to boost your profile tremendously. I actually wrote a book, as you can see on the screen, 30 features of LinkedIn that boost your profile tremendously. But this is given to those who attend my personal branding workshop, which I will give away complimentary seats as well in my next newsletter. But at the same time, you can already redeem certain notes like this, okay, that I come up with every 2 weeks, and you can refer and guide you step by step to successfully build your personal brand online. Now that all of us are in discussion, we've agreed, right? We have definitely agreed that online networking is the way to go. So we want to make the most out of it. We want to do better at it, and so that it can benefit us in our career and our business. So please subscribe to my newsletter. That will be great. And you can also share the link with your network, tinyurl.com/LisaPB newsletter. Now let's go on to the third question I want to discuss today. What do you think is limiting you from putting yourself out there? Now this is genuinely a problem. Okay, so some of us are not used to putting ourselves out there. Some people are comfortable one-to-one conversation, no stress, easy. But some of us struggle and shiver and a bit tremble. Okay, when it comes to having conversation with a lot of people. And I know this because even some of us are not comfortable doing a presentation to 50 people at once. Okay, it can be mind blowing. And I'm not saying that these people are not professional. They are professional, but they are just not used to that amount of exposure where you have 50 pair of eyes looking at you at every one time. So that scares you. And I want to know what actually scares a lot of you. What is the thing that's limiting you from putting yourself out there? If you have not been posting consistently, if you have not been sharing your credibility, sharing your expertise, your competency, your character, your genuine personal stories, I want to know what is it that is causing the mental block in your head right now. Hi, Swimita. Thank you so much for joining us. I would like to hear your opinion, actually, Swimita, if you want to share with us about anything with regards to personal branding. And if you are having trouble with personal branding online on LinkedIn, I want to know as well, what do you think is limiting yourself from putting yourself out there? So anyone would like to share, or I can also give a couple of tips as well based on my experiences. But just now I mentioned that people are not used to putting themselves out there, so there is a level of fear. Like some of us who have a fear of speaking on stages. Anyone? Anyone here is having some trouble speaking on stage? Stage fright. Oh, Lisa, no matter what, I can handle a big project, but I can never be on stage and talk to 100 people. I would be shivering up there and I would stumble on my words. Anybody here facing stage frights? Now, it's actually the same thing. Okay, what you feel on the stage frights, okay, is actually the same kind of fear. Okay, very similar kind of fear when you try to put yourself out there on social media. Every time you post something on LinkedIn, trust me, at least 500 people will be reading it in the next 48 hours. 500 people. 500 is a lot. It's a lot of people. So every time you post something on LinkedIn for the next 48 hours, just the way LinkedIn works and social media works, it will appear in newsfeed, and every time people react to your post, it will reappear and get bumped up again in newsfeed. And your first connections will be seeing and reading, analyzing, judging. So that's the stress people feel. Lisa, when I put out content, will people hold it against me? If I put out content, will people start to judge me? Will I put out content, will people, create an impression of me? There's 500 people. You can't say 500 people will like me. The truth is, not everybody will like you. That is true. Whatever you put out, your content may displease some people. Your content might not resonate with a lot of people, and your content might be offensive to certain people. Okay, for whatever reason, different political views or something. Okay, but my point is, you cannot please 100% of people. But the people that you can actually add value to, those people who really find your stories resonating or relatable, these are the people that can convert into business relationship or transactions later on. So you need to take the risk. As simple as that. You post, okay, 500 people, these are 400 does nothing about it. They just read and walk away. Maybe two people don't like it, so they give me a negative feedback. Another 10 people actually love it, so they comment and share it. And another 20 people out of 500 would be my leads generated, who's interested to know more about what I do. That's exactly how it works. Of course, if you meet somebody one to one, yes, your objective is 100%. I want this one person to really appreciate me, like my services, and convert them into a client. It's easy to focus undivided attention to one person. That's what we do physically. But online, you're talking to 500 people in the next 48 hours. Not directly talking, but whatever you post, 500 people will be actually viewing in the next 48 hours on social media. And I know you worried about judgment, you worried about people commenting, you worry about negative backlash coming back to you. But if you don't take this small risk of putting yourself out there, then you will never appreciate or you never experience the benefit of what can come back. This is all trial and error. I tell you, no matter how expert we are in the things that we put out, there's never a fixed template for everybody. But you got to work out this template yourself. So put out content and start analyzing what are the people reaction. Oh, Lisa, I put out content and not many people are interested to find out more. Then maybe you can look into how you can tweak your content, make it more engaging, get people involved, have people reply messages, have people start commenting and answering your questions. So think about making changes along the way through trial and error. But if you don't even start putting yourself out there, you're missing the opportunities of getting clients or customers or network that you want. And remember, if you pass up that opportunity, someone else will be servicing your potential clients. Someone else will be making money from the network you are trying to reach. Okay, so what do you think is limiting yourself out there? List down the things that give you a mental block and ask yourself, how can I change? How can I get a coaching or how can I get a confidence? I attend a confidence class so I'm able to put myself out there without feeling the fear of speaking, without feeling the fear of being judged, and accepting that possibly the content I put out will not please everyone. And it is okay. It is so okay. Okay, so I want to let you know to think this through what is causing you this problem. And maybe you're not sure yet, Lisa. I didn't put myself out there because I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure whether this is going to work for me. It's also okay. Then maybe you can, post maybe once every 3 days and see where it will take you. And you never know, after 30 days, maybe you have 5 leads by which one turn into a paying customer. So then that will be an indication to yourself. Well, that's not bad enough. I mean, that's not bad at all. I put some content and I get some sales. So you just find out for yourself whether LinkedIn personal branding marketing works for you or not. And if social media influencing can bring you more customers than physical networking, that is something you need to find out for yourself. And you can only conclude that if you actually put yourself out there. Okay, and Sumita, thank you for sharing your opinion. She says that on the screen, it's imperative, very important to have personal branding. Jobs, businesses are volatile and are subjective to timely risk, but personal branding is long term. Exactly, I love this so much. Thank you for mentioning that the investment of personal branding efforts, okay, is actually a long term benefit. Even if you change your jobs, change your corporate career, move on to a different role, people want to be able to already personally connect with you because when you do personal branding, it's not just about selling your area of expertise and competency, but it's also selling your character. People want to know how genuine you are. People build relationship because they like you. Maybe they like the way you talk. Maybe they like what you share. Maybe they like your character as a person who's always generously giving value. For whatever reason, people who are looking, we are social creatures, okay? People are looking to connect to people, and then people are looking for reasons to stay connected. And as long as you give value to someone else, your character is amazing. People will want to connect with you for long term. And even if you switch jobs, they follow you through. So that's exactly what I like that you mentioned. This is a long term. your jobs and everything will change, but your personal branding, which is the base, okay, or the core reason why people would like you and want to do business with you, that is forever. Okay, of course, unless you retire and you don't need LinkedIn anymore, that's another story altogether. Okay, and thank you so much for sharing this as well. And once you actually focus on personal branding, which is building virtual relationships or building relationship with people because of yourself, because of you, your character, your person, the way you speak, the way you look, the way you present yourself, these are all personal elements about you that's going to build relationship for the long term. You realize how easy it is to convince someone. You will soon realize how easy it is to even make a call and just sell something to someone, and how easy it is for your network to make a decision to use you as a provider or a buy your product because of your personal brand. Okay, and thank you so much for answering that. So now, before we go on to the next question, I also want to remind you again to subscribe to my bi-monthly newsletter, tinyurl.com/lisa pb newsletter. And the next question I want to talk about, it's a difficult question, okay? I'm not sure if I can explain this in this session, but I want to hear your thoughts anyway. Everyone is doing PB on LinkedIn. Okay, remember just now somebody said that this is the way to go. This is the new norm. Everybody now have to go online, network on the internet, and then make connections with people. So my question is, maybe last time, okay, 5 million people on LinkedIn is doing personal branding. But what about right now? Maybe 50 million people are actually doing personal branding every minute of every day on LinkedIn and social media. So, how do you think you can stand out? I want to know, guys. Please feel free to share with me. I want to hear your thoughts and views. How do you think you can stand out from everyone else who is doing exactly what you do? They're practicing the basic guidelines, the template that that you read as well. So you read about this strategy, other people are also using this strategy. So what do you think is your personal way of showcasing yourself that you will stand out from your peers, from your audience and attention? Okay, I hate to admit this, okay, but content you put out, of course, you want to seek attention. Okay, you want people's attention, people interest, tap on people's curiosity for them to continue a relationship or conversation with you online. So if you're just putting something that's mundane or that's common or that people can find elsewhere, then there's nothing different about the content you put out. It's very difficult then for people to choose you as a source of, things they read on a daily basis. Okay, so what do you guys think? For everyone is doing personal branding on LinkedIn. So how do you think you can stand out from everyone else? I want to know. Anybody has any thoughts or idea how to build an unshakable brand on LinkedIn? These are I want to build a prominent brand. I want people to highly respect me. I want to build amazing credibility. I want to put an unforgettable reputation. Any idea? Maybe you guys have done something, okay, that puts you different from other people. So if you tell me, no, Lisa, I'm just gonna post once a day. That's what 50 million people are doing. Lisa, I'm gonna put valuable post tips that they can apply. That's what your other 1,000 competitors are doing. So what am I gonna do? And I don't want to hear silly suggestions. Okay, Lisa, I'm gonna put a pink color wig on my head so when I go live, people will pay attention because I have a pink colored wig. I want to remind you that LinkedIn is a very professional platform. And what does it mean compared to Facebook and everywhere else? Now, Facebook and Instagram are people with a lay mindset. People with a lay mindset means they enter these platforms for entertainment before business opportunities. But on LinkedIn, people join LinkedIn and people log on LinkedIn not for entertainment. So they don't appreciate cheap gimmicks of getting attention. So as a personal branding coach myself, this is something I emphasize a lot to my mentees, that do not do cheap tricks. Okay, do not choose cheap tricks to get attention of people. Choose to value yourself and showcase yourself, okay, of a very very immense value that you can add to somebody else's life. So you can say something meaningful, share a story that resonate other people, genuinely put yourself out there, because that's the person you are. Wearing a pink color wig is not the person you are. You don't go out there and wear a pink color wig when you go to the shop. That's not the person you are. So which means you are just showcasing yourself like a stage person, okay, just to get attention on social media. So very important, I don't want you to try cheap gimmicks when it comes to building your personal brand online. Showcase yourself as somebody professional so that when you actually build a virtual relationships on LinkedIn, this virtual relationship will convert to become long sustainable business relationship. Okay, investors do not like to invest into somebody with a pink color hair. Okay, so I want you to focus on building strong, long-term, sustainable relationship by being yourself. Things that you don't usually do when you go out there dressing weirdly. Don't do it as well on LinkedIn. It's a very professional platform, but it's different if you sell the product for consumer on Facebook. Okay, so on Facebook, if you see my video promoting a facial mask because I have a beauty company, so you see me doing tutorials about putting mask on my face. Okay, but that's a different altogether. That's a different target audience altogether. So those people I'm targeting on Facebook are consumers, so they want to see tutorials where I wear face mask. But on LinkedIn, professional postings, please. Okay, so any idea? Let's see a couple of answers. Fierce commented and said, collaborate with Lisa a little bit more to get outstanding attention. That is actually genius. And I always want to let people know, right? Okay, Lisa is such a public figure. We will never be like her. You see, my existence is not just for me. It doesn't make sense for me to upkeep 100,000 followers because they can never be my full customers anyway. I could never have 100,000 customers. That's way too much. Okay, but what I can do is contribute something to you, which is what Furious highlighted here. I can contribute my network, which is built by my effort the last 5 years, but I can give it to you. How do I give it to you? By collaborating. And it could be as simple as you leaving a comment on my LinkedIn. If you start leaving comment on my LinkedIn on the things that I post every day, enjoy, participate in conversations, leave a comment, leave your insightful, promote yourself a little bit about your experience, and then, give insights based on the content that I put out. When you start appearing in my network, trust me, my network reads comment all the time. They read comments, they see who reacted to my post. My network is buzzing with people always interacting with each other or always coming back to read, okay, and of course interact with me as well. So I want you to consider ways on how you can piggyback on a popular influencer with an amazing reputation. Okay, so if somebody is seen like they have an amazing brand, they are not your enemy. They can be your friends. And all you need to do is either make an approach. Hey, Lisa, can I interview you? Lisa, is there a chance that I can appear in your LinkedIn live? Or start commenting and share about your experience. If you comment on somebody else's post that has 1 or 2 likes, it doesn't contribute any visibility. Okay, if you want to increase the visibility of your profile, I want you to tap and piggyback on the network of a business influencer on LinkedIn, one that you are proudly to be associated with. So start commenting on her network or his network, and where all her followers will be able to see, know you, probably be interested to follow you after that, and this increase visibility of your LinkedIn profile. Amazing suggestion. Thank you so much. What else can you do? Now it's a bit different because it requires you to make contact with someone else. This is a collaboration, synergy. So you need to make the effort of connecting with the actual business influencer. So if you say, Lisa, I don't like to follow people, I'm only on LinkedIn because I want to post. Well, if you don't collaborate with people or work with people or connect with people, then actually, how can you expect people to connect with you? So you have to think of it that way. Everything is a two-way street over here. Uh, Sumimita, thank you so much. Your comment saying that being genuine is very important. Being open minded, confident, well read on what your subjects are some of the ways to look strong on PB. People only like you if you're knowledgeable and genuine. I love this. This is very, very true. Honestly, right? If we want to do business with someone, again, I'm going to repeat, this is a business transaction. If I were to ever do business with someone, I need somebody with a good reputation. That's one. But more importantly, I need that person to know what he or she is doing. So, one way or another, I don't how that person look like is secondary. Primarily, if I want to do a transaction with someone, I want to know that person, I want to know more about that person depth of knowledge. How much does she know? What is her depth of knowledge? What does her credibility says? Is there any way I can read her track records? Is there any testimonials from clients that she's sharing? How many people has endorsed her or give her testimonials on LinkedIn? These are the questions I ask myself. Okay, and therefore you want to showcase yourself when you put out content on a daily basis that spells your intelligence, that spells your street smartness, that spell your smartness. And that's what people want. Okay, don't go and post on LinkedIn, I'm smart, I'm an expert, I know how to do this. It's about crafting stories that actually spells out your character, the person that you are, without telling people directly you're an intelligent person. And once people can work out, because people on LinkedIn are very smart professionals, they're going to read about what you do and they're going to be, wow, that's an amazing thing. Well, it's amazing to hear how she solved the problem with that client. Then people start to have more trust in you because you appear someone of a knowledge expert. Okay? Thank you so much, Sumita, for sharing that. Absolutely correct. Okay, Ajinkya, thank you so much for sharing as well. Create useful and relevant content, simplify the language, and amplify the impact. I love this as well. Okay, when you say simplify the language, okay, one of the compliments that I do have, thank you so much. Some of the people who did complimented me say that I always am able to explain something so complicated into bite-sized nuggets that people don't need to watch my video 20 times to understand my key takeaways. And that's what you want. Okay, I know you're smart in what you do, whether you're an IT programmer or whether you're a coach, and you understand the landscape of a lot of things. But when you want to send out message, okay, keeping in mind that there's going to be hundreds and thousands of people tuning in, I want you to simplify the language, avoid the use of jargons. Using complicated jargons actually makes it complicated for people to understand. And even though you are clearly an expert because you understand these jargons, people who don't understand the message cannot understand what value you can give to them. They don't understand it. So let's say you're a lawyer and you want to talk about the legalities or maybe an IP law. Why is it important for a business to get IP rights to protect their brand name? Why is it important? So you need to share this an experience of context that is resonating to people. So as a business owner, I might not be so smart, I might not have a bachelor degree, but when you explain to me about IP law, the importance of IP law to save a business brand for the long term, I understand if it's simple. Okay, and if it's complicated, knowing that you're a lawyer, obviously, it's very hard for me to continue to work with you or potentially become your client because I was worried that I might not be able to understand what you tell me. So therefore, simplify the language to amplify the impact. I love it so much, which is absolutely correct. Thank you for sharing that. Now, engaging with people and develop conversations. I want to let you know, conversation doesn't always have to be a private message. Some of you go like, Lisa, I feel so bad. If I'm going to private message people, 20 people a day, what if they block me? So you can start with a light conversation. Now, a light conversation happen via the comment section. So whenever you read a post of someone else or people start commenting, that means people are initiating light conversations. They don't know yet what they're going to do with you. They don't know yet whether they're going to follow you for the long term, but they start to develop a mild interest to what you share or maybe who you are as a person. So I want you to start commenting. And if let's say you say, Lisa, I've been posting and people don't even comment, they don't even start a light conversation with me, then I want you to think about putting a question to your post. Every time you post, ask a question back to your community and ask them to comment and share their experiences as well. So if you're giving, let's say, a personal branding tips, end off your post by asking people, what are your struggles of personal branding? Would you like to share with me? Please leave them in the comment section below. And when people read that, people have a natural habit of wanting to answer questions. But don't ask them way too complicated questions that they need a maths degree to answer. So ask very simple questions that they can think in 2 minutes and they can take the liberty to just type down their answer. And once they start commenting on your post, that is the initiator of light conversations. And please don't ignore them. When people want to converse with you, welcome them. Embrace the conversations. I know you may not really know who the person is before you comment back. Why don't you just take 2 minutes, go to their LinkedIn profile and read up a little bit? Is this guy a decision maker? Is this guy part of an MNC? Is this guy is a startup? And get some base and background information about what that person does. So when you continue to reply, which is continuing the light conversation based on the comment they left you, you can explore synergies in the future. I like it. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, lastly, hi Lisa, building a network reached 700 just like that. Congratulations. Okay, all of us started from a very small network. So I want you to think of it positively of where this can take you the next few years. Personal branding is not overnight for sure, but every single milestone is a stepping stone to success in the end. I received a LinkedIn note from a CEO in a digital field, not even my field. She thanked me for sharing her post on LinkedIn and said how she could serve me. That's excellent. So you can see that people are already initiating relationships with you. And you don't need 7,000. Marlene, you're right. You don't need 7,000. I don't need to be as popular as Lisa in order for me to get transactions. No, it's not at all. When you're genuine and you can start monetizing from very, very early on. And even if you're not monetizing, you're making friends with right people. Now, when we do business, right? Okay, one of the value that we have is when we have a close circle of very powerful people, people with high titles, decision makers, people who are top in corporate management, people who are in big companies, people who can control people for us. So these are the people we want to keep in our network, and we can acquire them as friends from very early on, just as soon as we get on LinkedIn network. Okay, so you want to make friends, or you want to make friends with the powerful people so that tomorrow if you need something, somebody else can give you an opportunity. These people can influence people they know to give you opportunities. So friendship building is also important when it comes to LinkedIn personal brand. Don't think that, oh, I'm on LinkedIn because I only want to make money. I'm going to monetize on her, on her, on her, on her. If you're always thinking of making money, trust me, you'll never make enough. Okay, but it's not just about making money. Some people are not meant to be your clients because they're not in your exact field. But some people may appreciate you for other reasons and therefore become your friends and close network on LinkedIn. And maybe tomorrow, when they come across your service offering post, they will recommend to people they know because they can vouch for you and they are a better influencer to their network compared to you who don't even know who their friends are. Okay, so business transactions happen that way. Somebody would recommend or refer you to somebody else, but it starts with having a friendship. So thank you so much for sharing that, Marlene. It's a great experience, and congratulations on putting up the milestones and growing your network on LinkedIn. Keep going, so that all the efforts of PB in the past makes more sense if you continue to grow. And all the best in making new friends on LinkedIn as well. Wow, that's actually a long topic. Okay, so I I enjoyed this session so far, guys. If you enjoy my talking, I hope I don't sound that long-winded. Feel free to give me a comment, a thumbs up. I appreciate it so much, and I hope to do this weekly and talk to you guys. Okay, before we move on to the next question, I want to remind you guys to subscribe because some of you just joined the conversation. Please subscribe to my bi-monthly newsletter, and it's tinyurl.lizapbnewsletter.com. That's a lot about personal branding. And if you ask me, Lisa, what have I achieved with my personal brand online? I actually have raised capital funding in 6 digit just on LinkedIn. I have met investors, I have met partners, I have franchised my businesses, I have got clients, I built resellers. I've done so much on LinkedIn. And when I think about those opportunities that I was able to seize without even spending money or getting out of my house, I'm like, this is ridiculous, the world we live in. I just have to sit in my office room on my chair and actually acquire clients, partners, and investors. It's ridiculously easy if we know what strategies work for our business. So because it has happened to me, I became a lover of personal branding on LinkedIn. I love this platform so much and I started in 2017. So before that, I don't even know what LinkedIn is. So I was only on Facebook. But then when I got to LinkedIn, honestly, LinkedIn changed my life. But LinkedIn cannot give you benefit if you're not taking action on anything at all. So that's why we're having this conversation right now. So we talk about personal branding, how I do it, how you do it, and together maybe you find new ways of doing it better for your future and your corporate career and your opportunities for business via LinkedIn. So please subscribe to my newsletter. And on the 15th of March will be the first time I release my newsletter, and I will give you a guide about how to use LinkedIn features to tweak and boost your profile tremendously. So you're going to get amazing benefit from me, okay? Signing up with my newsletter is not about getting common things, okay? I don't share common things, okay? Things that you can read from elsewhere, they're not going to come from me. So my newsletter will come with my exact strategies that I practice over the 4 years on LinkedIn. And I'm also a PB coach that qualify coaches. Okay. So I actually coach a lot of people to become personal branding coaches and experts. And that's what I've done since last year. I have a textbook, a 200-page textbook, 300 course notes, modules, tutorials, presentation. And I actually qualified 80 professionals to become personal branding expert and coaches last year. So if you are looking at earning a lucrative income, you want to learn the full scope of what personal branding is, and you want to be somebody who can, coach other people and earn as a living and impact other people and coach them how to use their personal brand, you can sign up as my mastery program. Just get in touch with me. Thank you so much, Sumita. I really appreciate it. I hope you can sign on my newsletter. I want to give you some complimentary seats as well to attend my workshops that's happening. So sit in, listen in, and explore more synergy. And maybe we can do something together as well in the future. Thank you for making time for this. Okay, this is great, Marley. That is actually a good objective. I think you're very clear, okay, and it's been clarified about what exactly you're trying to achieve on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where all the professionals who are decision makers, decision influencers, and deep pocket people, they are right here on LinkedIn. So if you think about, well, Lisa, where can I make the most money? Lisa, where can I get the best opportunities? Lisa, where can I win the most investors? It's here. You're already here. It's right here on LinkedIn. It's not elsewhere. You will never get investors on Instagram. You're never going to get franchise partners in Facebook. So everything is right here. People with deep pockets, people who can control decisions that you want. All right, let's go into the next question, guys. So what do I post? Okay, Lisa, I'm ready. I'm hype up. Okay, now what should I post on LinkedIn? I don't know what to post. What do I post? So I want to ask you guys, what have you been posting? What have you guys been posting? I want to hear what have you guys been posting? How regular have you been posting? Once a day, once every 2 days, once a week, once a month, once a year, never post before? What is it? Come on, let's hear some comments. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes. Thank you for joining. Exactly. Now, if you build an amazing personal branding, you can sell anything because people influence people. If I want to sign up for your workshops, that's because I've already got some tips, I've already got some value by following you on LinkedIn. And that's a relationship already building. Now, relationship doesn't mean you have to at least start a conversation with someone on internet. No, people actually build trust with me if even if they've never talked to me. Okay, so they don't have to have a conversation with me. Okay, they just follow me, I add value to them on a daily basis. Eventually they will sign up for something that I sell because they just trust me more than other providers. So guys, the question is on the board. I want to know, what have you been posting on on LinkedIn? Okay, no Lisa, I've been sharing just articles. No Lisa, I've been sharing YouTube channels of other people. What have you been posting on LinkedIn? Once in a while, not consistent. Now, if it, there's nothing wrong with this, by the way, guys. Okay, if you admit that, Lisa, I'm not a consistent poster, I don't post all the time, it is okay because people who don't post consistently don't need LinkedIn yet. They're not either they are not clarified yet about who they want to target, which is good. If you're not sure who you're targeting, you don't have to post. Okay, this is not a competition. Oh, she posts every day, I also have to post every day. You don't have to. It's not a competition. Okay, people who post regularly, you know why? Because they're very clear about who they're trying to attract. That's why they know how to put themselves out there. So if you don't know yet how to, position yourself in the market, you don't know how to put yourself out there yet, it's because you don't know yet exactly who you're trying to attract, or you don't need anybody right now. You're stable in your job, or you're a CEO of a top company. You don't need any of it, so you don't have to post consistently. Okay, people who don't post consistently doesn't mean they suck at personal brand. It just means they don't need it at this time of their career, and maybe they do next time, and then you see them post consistently because they're clarified about who they're trying to attract. So unless you're ready and you know who you're trying to attract, it is okay not to be disciplined or diligent in posting on social media. Okay, it's not a force. This is not part of everybody's job scope. It's just whether it makes sense in your life or not at this point of time. Okay, so now we're talking about posts. So Marlene says that I struggle on posts. I share posts, other posts and comments. Should I be in a position to comment? Okay, so Marlene is not posting anything yet. Okay, and someone else said I post when I think I have something worth communicating and sharing that informs and might be interest to others. So you focus on adding value and you seldom post, particularly some promotional flyer. Okay, so you post something that is promotional flyer. In fact, don't know how to position myself and attract a right client. Okay, thank you so much. Now I'm going to share you tips about how to write easier and what you should focus on writing. Before that, I want to remind you that every time you share somebody else's post, let's say you share Gary V post, you Richard Branson, that's actually not personal branding. Okay, so that is just you're just a marketer. You're marketing someone else, so that's actually almost irrelevant to you. Um, and if you promote business, for example, promotional flyer, banners with regard to your business offering, these are all commercial posts. Now, commercial posts is good in a way, but commercial posts does not bring you leads and generate clients. So, remembering on the law that people influence people, digital storytelling is one of the most important elements when it comes to business when it comes to business networking. So now people need to know a little bit more about you. And I'm not talking about you sharing your deeper secrets, okay? Oh, I got divorced last year. These stories that is not important, okay? It's not important. Okay, but when you share digital storytelling with the element of a people element, you want to share, for example, helping your customers solve, okay, their last problem. So a client testimonials, but you share in a story how you exactly help that person. So when people read it, people feel more connected to you and they trust you more as a person who can solve other people problem. If you share just a corporate flyer, oh, we do digital marketing for $500 a month, no one will react to it. But if you write a digital story about how you help a client grow from 10,000 followers to 50,000 followers, or make $100,000 in their first year using your digital services, that would appeal more to people because it's more relatable, it's more human to human experience sharing, and people get to know you as well as a character. They will remember you as somebody who's helpful, who's thoughtful. So I'm going to type in the comment three things I want you to focus on when you start writing a digital storytell or post on social media. So there's not much thing to think about, okay? I want you to think about stories related to these three factors. Okay, so number one, I want you to focus. I'm typing right now for the comment section. Okay, so number one, I want you to focus on showcasing your character. Okay, and number two, I will explain it very shortly. Number two, I want you to focus in your area of expertise. And number three, I want you to focus in mentioning or highlighting your level of competency. Okay, let's see, is it posted yet? Okay, so as you see in my comment, I'm talking about three things that's very important. People only need to know these three factors about you in order for them to do business with you. So number one is character, number two is expertise, and number three is competency. So character, I want you to think about the person you are. If you're not sure what kind of person you are, please ask your loved ones. Okay, what do they remember you as? And ask them. So maybe you can ask your wife. So what do you think about me? What do you think of me as a person? Don't talk about business. What do you think of me as a person? And your wife might say, well, I think you're helpful. I think you are honest. And I think you're very polite. Okay, so these are the three things, okay, that somebody says about you. So it's true. Okay, if somebody say that about you, it's definitely true. They can also say you are thoughtful, mindful, intelligent. They can also say you are smart, hardworking, um, generous. So any and focus only on three characters per month. Okay, so you don't have to talk about the 10 great person you are. So let's say this month you want to focus and highlight to people that you are polite, you are approachable and friendly, and you are smart. So whenever you think about this character, then you can think about relatable stories that tells this character. So, for example, right, I want to tell people I'm smart. I want to tell people that despite not having a degree, I am actually smart to do business. I've run companies, I've raised investments, and I've lectured universities. So what do? I share a story where I actually lectured at university. I share a story where I actually contribute an article to a blog. Okay, I share some tips about digital marketing, so that can help people. So when I share things like this, what the audience take away is that I'm a smart person. She's lecturing in three universities last month. She must be smart. Okay. Oh, she's writing her first ebook with 10 strategies about digital marketing. She's probably smart. Okay. Oh, she's helping a client, save their business and make 100,000 last year. She probably knows what she's doing. So these are the scenarios that make people remember the character you are. Believe it or not, social media is a perception platform. That means people make a perception or impression of you based on the content you put out. So you are actually the king of your own content. So you can decide, okay, I want people to keep on being reminded that I'm a smart person. So every week, every Monday, you put out something smart. You share about something smart that you've done. You share about something that you've done that tells people you are kind of smart. So because of that, people will start having this impression. People will not remember exactly word for word or what you actually shared last Monday or the Monday before. But people take away this impression with them, and people will always remember you as a person who's smart. Okay, so that is influencing perception, and it can happen based on the stories you tell. So you dictate the content you put out so that you can create this perception over time. And some people create a perception of you very quickly. After one post, they work out, okay, you're smart. But some people will take longer. Maybe they're a bit cynical, so they need to read you consistently for 6 weeks before they decide what kind of person are you. Now, all of us are judgmental in a way. Okay, we do. We judge all the time. We create impression all the time. Some of us the smarter people don't say out these judgments. They keep it to themselves. Okay, but we do judge. So every time the content you put out can either spell good things about you or bad things about you. So think about the character you want to focus on every month. Think about three or two characters you want to keep on repeating. If you talk about a new character every day, okay, today I want to tell people I'm smart. Tomorrow I'm going to come up with a story to tell people I'm helpful. The next day I'm going to talk story about this, something else. So then it confuse people to develop a permanent impression of you. So focus on three character you want to showcase yourself as for this month, and write stories only come taking people back to that impression. Smart again. Tuesday you want to talk about being helpful. Thursday you want to talk about being generous. Do the same thing the following week again. Okay, because after 30 days people will create these three impression of you based on what you put out. So that's character. Now, secondly, is expertise. Come on, we all need to make money. This is a professional platform. Our network here is not just about building relationship, but also potentially becoming our client. Now, before our client pay us money or engage us for any purposes, they need to know what we're good at. They need to know what is the area that we are able to help them. So, for example, if you're a digital marketing expert, okay, so that is your core business. Your core business is digital marketing. You might do other things, okay? Maybe you're a good baker, maybe you're a good painter. So, once in a while, you can share your other hobbies or expertise, okay? You want to share maybe once a month, you want to talk to people, you want to share to people that you're a great painter. You like to paint on the weekends because it's very relaxing for you. But your core skill, what is your core expertise that makes you money? I want you to think about it. Or Lisa, I am a content writer. I do very good copywriting and I help clients actually get a lot of leads by excellent copywriting to promote their business and write their digital stories better. So if you are a copywriter, you're so good in content writing, you're so good in curating content for your client, that is your core expertise. Now, your core expertise needs to be mentioned a bit more times. So if you're talking about your favorite hobby, which is painting, you want to spend 10 times more highlighting your core expertise. So you want to talk about copywriting 10 times more than any other expertise that doesn't generate you the most income. Okay, the one that generate you the most income, that is your core expertise. It needs to be repeatedly mentioned, possibly at least twice a week. So people who already build a good impression of your character will start to remember you as well for what you advocate for, what you specialize in. Because if people don't know what you actually do for a living, people can never match an opportunity or a job to you. And that's why you don't make transaction. What's the point of having 100,000 followers if people only know you as being kind, smart, and thoughtful, but people have no idea what you do for a living? So focus on one core expertise every month, okay? Unless of course your business change in the future, you can change your core expertise and then talk about your core expertise 10 times more than a normal post. So I would say at least 10 posts a month should be dedicated on your highlighting your core expertise. Now, core expertise, please do not do direct selling. Please focus on storytelling, which is what you've done for your clients before and help resolve. And these are the things that will actually bring you leads, because people who can identify themselves with the problem of your previous client will then start making contact. Okay, also share values and tips, okay, or strategies that you can give away as complimentary value to your network. Because the more people know how smart you are, how deep your knowledge is, people will trust that you are an expert in what you do. Okay, so they will recommend you to people because they trust you're an expert. And lastly is competency. Competency is being honest about how many years of experience you carry. Now, some of us, it's very misleading. Okay, for example, you have 10 years of graphic design experience, but you never mention it. Okay, when you don't mention it, people who contacted you are, for example, SMEs with a budget who can only pay very minimal amount of money because they don't need a 10 years experience graphic designer. They only need a graphic designer intern or junior level, but that's not you. So you can get offended if you don't find the right match of your client. So if your rate, let's say you are charged $50 or $150 per hour, okay, because you're an experienced graphic designer, then basically you want to target MNCs, big companies with high budget who needs extensive or very professional graphic design services. So when you identify what your competency level is, you can always share this repeatedly about your years of experience. Naturally, people who most likely will underpay you will not even make contact with you. I would not, if my budget for a graphic designer is only 1,000 US dollars a month and you are costing 6,000 US dollars a month for your services, then I won't even make the approach to you. So I won't be your right target client anyway. You don't have to undercut your price from me. So be very honest with your competency level. When you share your experience, also include how many years of experience you carry. So you attract the right people who's willing to pay your price and you'll be a happy provider. Okay, guys, that's actually the last question. And we have spent 1 hour together. And thank you so much for joining me in this session. Before I go, so today I just want to recap. This is what we discussed. Who are you targeting on LinkedIn? Second questions, we talk about what are your thoughts about networking online? Has it been easier and more lucrative for you, or are you still into the traditional method? And then we talk about what do you think is limiting you from putting yourself out there? What is causing a mental block, blocking you off? Are you running out of ideas? Are you scared of people? Are you worried about negative backlash? What is it? Now, everyone is doing personal branding on LinkedIn, and when you study other people, how is it that you think you can stand out from everyone else by showcasing yourself differently and more creatively? What should you share as a post on LinkedIn, and what are the areas that you should focus on so that it's becoming very strategic to enable people, giving them reason to establish connections and trust bonds with you. And reminding you, please subscribe by my monthly newsletter, which I'm about to get started for the first time in 4 years. I will release my newsletter around the 15th of March 2021. And my first newsletter will be giving you tips about features of LinkedIn that can boost your profile tremendously. Actually, LinkedIn can really help you appeal to as many people as possible, increasing your visibility and credibility. But a lot of people, they know the features of LinkedIn, but they don't know how to tweak it to their benefit. So therefore, I hope that this guide is going to help you better with your personal brand on LinkedIn. I want to thank you guys one more time for spending this 1 hour with me. I'm grateful to be on LinkedIn, adding value to you guys. And I hope that if you think of any synergies and collaborations, get in touch with me. I want to do so much more with my LinkedIn community so we all can win in 2021. So I'm going to say goodbye now, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Keep in touch and hope to see you soon every Sunday for personal branding discussions. We'll come up with more questions and talk about it. And if you have any challenges, let me know. Maybe I can help you and maybe you can also help me. Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye.